Shunji Iwai's All About Lily Chou-Chou captures the silent loneliness of adolescence through composition. Every frame feels fragile, carefully balanced, yet ready to break. Shot composition here is not just design. It is the film's emotional language. His camera does not just record the story, it feels it. Every frame is carefully constructed to express emotional distance, social alienation, and the quiet violence of adolescence. To understand Iwai's visual storytelling, we must look closely at how he composes his frames. Iwai often places characters as tiny points in vast landscapes. They seem to be the center, yet the empty space consumes them. The director places the character at the rule of thirds intersection to create a visual focus and highlight the subject. The point composition links the flag and the boy, while the vast green space visually expresses his loneliness and powerlessness standing alone in the field. But stillness soon gives way to direction, and that's where leading lines appear. Leading lines guide the viewer's eyes toward the focal point, while the shot foreshadows the protagonist running toward the vanishing point. In this shot, the character stands at the boundary of light and shadow. The contrast guides the viewer's gaze, while the placement along the rule of thirds enhances compositional balance. The perspective from distance to foreground adds depth and spatial tension. From direction to tension, Iwai then turns to diagonal compositions to disturb balance. In this shot, Shunji Iwai employs a diagonal composition to guide the viewer's gaze and infuse the frame with a sense of motion. The boy's hunched posture and the girl's collapsed position create a visual contrast, symbolizing helplessness and an emotional descent. When the weight of space becomes tangible, the frame starts to trap them. In this shot, the director cleverly uses the piano as a framing element in the foreground, adding visual depth. The composition creates a frame within a frame effect, enhancing the narrative quality of the image. Amid visual instability, the director finds order through triangular composition, stability born from chaos. Although this shot uses a tilted angle that creates tension and unease, the triangular composition balances that instability. The earphone wire connects the two characters, building subtle emotional tension. Their contrasting postures reveal imbalance, while the close-up details intensify their inner turmoil. Iwai uses handheld movement to visualize emotional collapse. The unstable rhythm of the frame mimics breath and heartbeat, making us feel the anxiety before we understand it. In moments of chaos, the fight, the beating, the humiliation, the camera shakes violently. Losing its framing, it's as if the lens itself suffers. Composition becomes unstable, mirroring Yushi's collapsing world. In this scene, the protagonist has just confronted an arrogant classmate in front of everyone. The shaky Lango shot creates a sense of chaos and unease, intensifying the feeling of tension and the character's emotional instability. Iwai's use of handheld shots and push-ins creates a floating perspective, as if the camera itself is searching for meaning. In the mother and Yuchi's argument, the unstable framing reflects their inner chaos and anxiety. When handheld motion meets tilted framing, Iwai creates a language of falling, a visual collapse. The loss of balance becomes the visual form of emotional breakdown. Movement becomes narrative itself. When the frame finally steadies, we realize even the camera's trembling is part of the emotion itself. In the film, green carries multiple meanings: hope, the open fields, melancholy, and the collapse of faith. At the beginning of the film, the green rice fields serve as Yuchi's utopia, a refuge from his harsh school life. Here, the green is paired with high-key lighting, evoking a sense of calm and serenity. As Hoshino descends into corruption, the film's green gradually loses its initial purity and calm, turning into a color of oppression and melancholy. Rooms are shrouded in gray-green light, and the fields grow lifeless. The overall lighting shifts from high-key to low-key, visually mirroring the collapse of the character's faith and inner world. The presence of green is closely tied to the character's shifting states of mind, from school bullying to outbursts of anger, and the symbolic green apple. As the color green turns from bright to cold, the composition evolves from open to constricted, tightening the visual space and pushing the emotional tension towards suffocation. In the film, the white halo no longer represents purity, but rather a form of painful purification. Iwai continues Japan's cultural reverence for white, yet here he transforms it into a symbol of spiritual emptiness and emotional decay. The backlighting often turns the characters into silhouettes, creating a visual motif of the subject being consumed. Through the interplay of color and composition, the director conveys the collapse of youthful ideals. As the light fades and the frame tightens, innocence disintegrates within the boundaries of the image. Lastly, it's worth mentioning that the digital texture of the film becomes an essential visual element. During the Okinawa trip, sequences shot by the characters themselves, the footage feels raw and shaky, filled with grain and soft light, creating a sense of immediacy, as if we are seeing through their eyes. Rather than a mere stylistic choice, the texture serves as an emotional tool, capturing the intersection between reality, memory, and loss. Composition, movement, and texture intertwine to form Iwai's poetic visual language, a confession of loneliness, memory, and the fleeting beauty of youth. An All About Lily Chou-Chou composition isn't about beauty, it's about emotion. Every point, every line, every tilt speaks the language of loneliness.